Hi, very good afternoon to you. It's Jim from maverickstar Observatory. Once again, guys, the big mouth of YouTube has been running his mouth off again at me. We're talking about suspicious observers, Ben Davison, the con man. The guy who talks about solar physics and has zero qualifications. Why don't you ask him what his qualifications are in the subject he does a 3-minute video about every single day, including Christmas Day? Can you believe the gall of it? He had a mobile observatory, and to this day I am still wondering exactly what it was he was monitoring with that mobile observatory. This is what he raised tens of thousands of pounds off a global audience so that he could get this minibus going and rolling round, it seems, all the states in America with his girlfriend on a big tourist operation. Because first of all, if you've got a mobile observatory, can you imagine the uncertainties in whatever it is you're trying to monitor? I don't know, first of all, what it was he was monitoring. I really don't know. Was it just the levels of funding that he was raising? I mean, he's at it again, with Big Bertha, the ultimate bug-out vehicle. What will you benefit from that, I ask? Just entertainment? This guy's a fraud. He has no qualifications in the topic that he's been talking for many, many years now. I knew suspicious observers when he had less than 100,000 subscribers. He said to me, when I get to 100,000 subscribers, I'm going after, what's his name? Oh, forget his name now. Alec Jones. He says he was going to go after him. Now, in my view, Alec Jones is a little bit eccentric. But let me tell you something. What Alex Jones did was open up ideas to a lot of people and awoken a lot of people, even though he could have been classified as being a little extreme. He did a lot for YouTube community and the people on YouTube. He brought a lot of things to the attention to a lot of people, and as we know, he has paid the price severely for that now, almost bankrupting him. And that's what suspicious observers' intentions was back then, probably 5 or so years ago now. He doesn't have any equipment and he monitors absolutely nothing using the scientific method. Not only does he not have any qualifications whatsoever in any subject of science, he still has the audacity to point fingers at people like myself and people that work at NASA. He's got an ego problem, which a lot of people keep regularly telling me about. He's rude, he's egotistic, I would even say narcissistic. That's what we're dealing with. Somebody that is convinced in their head that they are qualified in the field of which they talk every single day. Not a single qualification. Why don't you ask Ben Davison what his qualifications are? To my understanding, he's trying to sell land now on the suicide campsite. The ultimate place to be when the shit hits the fan. Really? I'm telling you now, right? As an educated, logical thinker, the last place you want to be is within 10 miles of Ben Davison when shit hits the fan. Trust me, you want to get on the right side of the fence at the time that we're at right now. Because being misinformed by somebody that isn't even qualified to talk about what they talk about, he's not a solar physicist, right? He's self-taught and very poorly self-taught. If you listen to his rants and his conclusions on what he reads, he's not all there. People just don't understand. This guy is clearly out for your money. Let me tell you something. It's very easy to spot the people that are doing it for the right reasons on YouTube. They're usually the ones now that are demonetized. And the reason for the demonetization is because we are talking about topics that governments and mainstream media don't want you to hear about. And that's why they're demonetising us. They go after the money. It's clear and simple. You saw Justin Trudeau in Canada, when the truckers was protesting legally, they was allowed to protest. What did he do? He seized their assets to shut the protest down. This is exactly what we're seeing on microscales on YouTube right now. The seizing of assets, the making it very difficult for people to, participate even in their own lives. Let me tell you something now. We have to deal with now artificial intelligence being slapped on our backs. That is going to hurt a lot of people. We've seen what they've done to people like Gerald Celente, and how the allegations are coming thick and fast for Russell Brand. All of these people have been demonetised. It's because we're talking about the truth, and that's what they want to shut down right now. But it doesn't help when people like Ben Davison come onto the scene with no qualifications. You should not listen to him. It's full stop. I think it's time that people woke up and said to themselves, if I need a filling in my tuff, am I going to go to the local butcher to have it fixed? No. Well, you don't go to Ben Davison for your solar physics and your solar, data. Go to a proper solar physicist. I'm sure there are solar physicists on YouTube that you could tune into to get correct information from a qualified solar physicist. Ben Davison has no qualifications. He's written children's books, and that's the mental capacity of Ben Davison. He can only write children's books, because if he started to write anything of any intellect at an adult level, no one would pay attention to it, because it would be just drivel. He's a con man. And clearly he's a con man. He's talking about subjects he has no qualifications in. So why would the hell anybody listen to somebody with no qualifications? I'm qualified in biology, physics, chemistry, maths, earth sciences, and astronomy. So, why would you go to somebody on any of those topics that wasn't qualified? Just tell me that. What are you actually getting from Ben Davison? Just an opinion. Nothing more than he's not even a weatherman. You're just getting his opinion. That's it. On a subject he's not qualified to talk about. So why the hell would he have so many subscribers? Listen to him. Is it the 3-minute videos he bangs out? We could do a 3-minute video on solar physics here at the observatory. No problem. How dare he point the finger at us? We have radiation detection equipment, we have CO2 atmospheric sensors, we have oxygen sensors, we have magnetometers here in the UK, in Canada and other countries. We have muon detectors, because we're following up on the radiation that is happening up in our atmosphere with collisions of cosmic rays producing subatomic particles like muons. We're well equipped here, and we've got the only TriMag ground-based system in the world, as well as a lot of other equipment. And then we are still furthering our abilities to monitor more things with this next project that we're undertaking. All we ask you guys is that you support what we're doing here. So back up a real scientist, who is using the scientific method. We have equipment. We've showed you the equipment. I've showed you my qualifications. I am open book. You can have a look. Let's have a look at Ben Davison's qualifications. Let's talk about his mobile observatory and what it was exactly monitoring and how accurate that was monitoring it. Because to me, it just seemed like people were paying him to drive around from state to state, and whilst he does his little tours and talks about subjects he's not qualified to. You know what? He has the audacity to call me a fraud. But on this scale, then what does that make him? If I'm a fraud, what is Ben Davison? How far down the ladder is Ben Davison? Well, that must make him a super criminal, a fraudster, a trickster, and a fool. Nothing simple than a fool. Don't point your fingers that are far more educated than yourself, Ben, because you're just making yourself look a stupid man. And that's what you are. You've got no qualifications. You've been taking money off the people for a long, long time now, and you've given them nothing back other than regurgitated shite from mainstream organisations, and even mainstream organisations which are not trustworthy. So you're full of shit is the simplest way to explain what you are. You're a con man. You're living off the back of people that trust you, but you know, half of them have never asked the simple question: what qualifies you to talk about the subject in which you do every single day? Why has nobody ever asked that question? And if he's got no qualifications, then why the hell should you listen to him? Because he's just giving you his own opinion, that's it. It's just an opinion. He's a con man. And if he says I'm a con man, then my goodness me. A con man with all this equipment, with an observatory that has been observing and recording data. There's an archive on our website that goes back over 5 years. Really? You look stupid when you start pointing the finger at me, Ben. You really do. And you really need to, get a grip. My advice to you is go and get some education on the subject to talk about, and then people should be, in a roundabout sense, able to listen to you, because at least you'll have a qualification in something. But stop trying to rip off people. Stop trying to frighten people into buying campsites with you, just in case, the world comes to an end. And on another note as well, right, this makes me laugh. Ben Davison talks about an event called micronovae. What a jackass. There is only one novae known in this sort of science, in solar physics, and that is a supernovae, and that is when a star or our sun explodes. And our sun has never exploded. And if he's talking about micronovae, to my knowledge, he must be talking about only one thing: a severe X-class storm, or CME, coronal mass ejection, a very severe one. But it won't be a novae, because a novae is an explosion of a star. And even on a small scale, if our sun had previously novaed, there'd be a big chunk of it missing. Trust me on that. He's full of shit. There will not be a micronovae. There will at some time be a supernovae, but we're probably millions and millions of years away from that. That sun's been there for the last 4.5 billion years. And it's not going anywhere soon. And it won't be blowing off, like Ben Davison says, a micronovae. That is ridiculous. Speak to any solar physicist on this subject that's qualified to talk about it, and they will laugh at the idea of what he suggests. That is what happens when you listen to somebody that has no credible knowledge or qualifications in a topic that they are just giving simply their opinions over to you about. If you want to back a real observatory and you want to support real science, then there is only one place. We are well known on YouTube for covering the magnetic pole excursion and this event that's taking place. We are the only ones that specialise in that topic on YouTube that are worth listening to. We've actually done something about it. Use your common sense, guys. We've actually did something about it. We have a TriMag system. We're monitoring the radiation because of an increase in cosmic rays. We've told you about the climate effects relating to the jet streams and how they're affected with cosmic radiation. We've told you all these things, and we've showed you all these things, and we show you our equipment openly. I show you my credentials in science openly. Let's see yours, Ben. Please tell the people today that you have no qualifications in the topic you've been talking about for all these years. Tell them that you raised money for a mobile observatory which observed nothing. Tell them the truth. And tell them the truth about this suicide theme park that you're trying to build. Because I promise you, people, the last person you want to be by when any severe event happens is Ben Davison, because he will turn 180 degrees on the spot and show you his back. With his arrogance that people have noted recently, he is getting much worse by the day. And what do people like this do? They try and transfer it to somebody else. And that's what he's trying to do here. Only, hopefully, people will show him this video that's been done on him. Because it's been done on you, Ben. Solely for you. And solely for your subscribers that subscribe to your YouTube channel. Because you are a fraud. You're not even qualified to talk about solar physics. So, I really don't know what else to say to you other than look in the mirror, sunshine. Guys, there's a link down there if you want to help support a real scientist and get behind a real observatory that is actually recording using equipment using the scientific method. You know, get behind the people that you need to be. Don't waste your time with people that just have opinions, because that, at the end of the day, is all they've got to offer you, an opinion. And it's a very, very poor opinion at that. If you want to back a real scientist, you want to back a real observatory, there is a link down there, and you can do that. And that's all I've got to say on this matter. As always, take care of your loved ones, and bye for now.